I'm stoked to sit here with you.
Thanks, happy to be here.
Welcome to the podcast, Keith Malloy.
Awesome.
I bumped into you on the beach at Pipeline yesterday. We were there watching all the action unfold for the Pipeline body surfing competition. Make sure that GoPro doesn't just fall off the perch there. What a day.
Yeah. For me, the pipe body surf contest has always been a pretty special thing, and I've competed in it myself, and definitely it's so cool because people travel from all over the world to come do the event. All the different regions, their best guys, Brazil, Europe, California, of course. So there's a pretty amazing group of badass watermen there. At the same time, it's kind of a small event.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of bystanders, or there's not a crowd cheering really, but it's a really cool group of hardcore body surfers and watermen that all show up for the pipe contest body surfing.
It's also pretty special, I think, because you've spent many years probably in your surfing career, I'm assuming, kind of battling for waves out there on a surfboard. I mean, how gnarly is it for the listener to actually be out there as someone not from Hawaii on a surfboard trying to get waves on the peak at Pipeline?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to compare that to what it's like to be out there as a body surfer.
Yeah, I mean, the normal days out there when the waves are pretty good, it's just like a swarm of bees just trying to raid the takeoff spot.
Yeah.
So obviously in ways that can ruin the experience. So anybody that's surfed out there over the years, a lot of people just won't surf it for that reason, So to be able to go out there with just a few guys and body surf, yeah, that's a huge appeal for that day as well. I think selfishly, a lot of guys just want to get out there and get some pipeline waves because it really might be their only opportunity without surfboards flying by their face.
Exactly, and also I think the interesting thing about the Pipeline body surf comp for me is a lot of the body surfers traditionally kind of sit on the edge of pipe towards gums, so they're constantly kind of getting snaked, but they're not, the peak's over there, the surfers are going there, so the body surfers are really getting not much done out there on an average day. But to get 2 surfs out there, 2 swims with 20 minutes, handful of people on the peak as well, it's like a very rare moment. I don't know if that happens at all outside of these events that take place there, because I've never seen body surfers sit deeper and kind of muscle it with the surfer guys, right? No,
definitely. The guys are during the event, everyone gets to sit deep on the peak, and otherwise, like, you're right, you're out there body surfing it, and you got to wait for a board surfer to hurl on the takeoff.
Exactly.
And then you swing and get the shoulder type of situation. So yeah, that is the only time you will see the body surfers sitting deep, really.
Yeah.
Because of the flotation of a surfboard, you just can't compete with taking off on a wave without a board. So it's the one day of the year where you don't have to be the shoulder hopper.
Yeah. And it's pretty good. I think that's part of the buzz. And you competed yesterday as well, and you were an alternate on the beach, right? You kind of rocked up. You weren't intending on getting in the water, were you?
No, I wasn't. So I've done the contest before, and I've had a blast. And I've made the final on one year when the waves were big. It was kind of one of my highlights of anything I've ever done. And then yesterday we came to shoot and film the event, but I noticed there was guys not showing up.
Yeah.
And actually Mark Cunningham's like, "Get out there, Malloy," and I'm like, "Okay." And so it felt good to go out and swim and get a few early on, because nothing beats that feeling, right?
Nah, nothing. How about the vibe? Like, you did compete as well. You did the slog of the tour back in the day and things like that. You had your go.
Yes.
I mean, hyper competitive. Everything's on the line. People are really battling it out. Can you paint a picture of the difference of swimming out at Pipeline for a body surf event in those early heats?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so for me, definitely traveling and doing the tour for quite a long time, that alone was kind of frying me out, and that's part of the reason I dug deep into body surfing.
Okay, cool.
Because I was like, I just want to ride waves. I don't want to hit lips. I don't want to try airs. I just want to, like, be in the ocean and feel the glide again.
Okay.
Because it's kind of gone away with all this high performance surfing. So that's why that's what I do. I'd surf a couple times, and then every third time I'd be out there with my swim fins on, and riding a wave that no one wanted to really surf, so kind of empty spot, just have some time in the ocean to yourself, and really reappreciate the simplicity of riding a wave.
Yeah.
So in like kind of the middle of my surfing career, I was doing that, you know,
Okay.
and really loving it and appreciating it. And way back when I was buds, I'd already been buddies with Cunningham just from being on the North Shore and having a lot of mutual friends. So sometimes it'd be him calling me up, let's go, grab your fins, you know, the sandbar looks awesome.
Sick.
Those were some of my favorite experiences in the water.
So it comes out of a jaded kind of moment with the surfing world, that high performance world. I mean,
Definitely.
was it something that you did you consciously accept it when you kind of did you come to that conclusion like, okay, this is starting to suck, how do I make it better again to be a surfer, a professional surfer? Or was it something you kind of didn't realize for a long time? Like, how long were you kind of in this mentality or space where you're just like, this sucks, how do I reinvigorate this? How long did that take?
Right. So I think it was a little easier for me because like I explained before, I wanted to get back to those, just being in the water and riding waves and feeling the glide and all that. And then the competition, it was fun at times. Like, you know, you basically, it came down to this: you have a couple good events and it's a blast and you make some money and ratings go up, and you know, win an event is kind of the best feeling ever. But then, you know, after a while, I wasn't one of those guys that was gonna like continue to win or be in the top 5 or 10, really. I mean, it was probably my own mind fuck that wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah, right.
but
not competitive enough,
right?
Like not brutal enough,
and just,
to get into it.
Didn't have the confidence in myself. Back then, we didn't have coaches and all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
But so I kind of realized I wasn't 100% cut out for the competition, but also had a fun time with it. But you know, realized right in the heat of it all, I was gonna spend more time traveling into destinations and exploring places. And for me, going on surf destinations, I always brought my swim fins as well. But I wanted to break away for sure from the crowds and the scenes and the contest and go kind of as far out of the way as I could and almost look for surf that hadn't really been surfed. And most instances that was in the far north or far south. And so that was kind of an awakening, you know, right in the middle of my, you know, because I could have stayed on tour for longer, but I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. Because I got to experience it and do that. Yeah. And then I had an injury, and I'm like, oh, this is my turn. This is where I kick out right here and start a whole new thing. Okay, so there was actually a little moment there where it was actually easier to make the full transition out. Like injury. Yes. I'm not surfing at the. Moment. Right. Competitiveness was not really there. Yes. It's reminding me of how I play golf. Okay. Like, you know, when you play golf and you have that one swing and you connect with the ball and you're like, wow, this could keep me coming back for more. Right. But then, you know, most of the time you're just hacking away and you're having a good time walking around the course, drinking some beers, but at the end of the day, you're not really competitive in that space, and other guys are cracking the ball more often. Is that seems like the surfing kind of transition? It's very similar. Enough to keep you there. I've done a bit of golfing in my day too, so it's like, you're on a little roll, and you're like, I'm never gonna stop. Exactly. This is amazing. And then you go and hack it up, and you're like, why am I doing this? Yeah, exactly. Where's the beers? Yeah, exactly. So okay, cool. That's it. But so you didn't just, like, in that transition away from the shortboard, high performance, high stakes game, you did kind of, so you were consciously escaping crowds as well. You wanted solitude as much as anything else. And I wanted to see, like, beautiful places and landscapes and people and ideally surf alone, or not alone, but with a couple guys that came along. And you know, so rather, I don't know, and like I said, I grew up wearing a full suit and booties and hoods at times, so going way up north, Alaska and Canada, just was like, those were the top spots on my hit list right away. And camping in the wilderness and stuff like that. I mean, it just sounded a lot more fun than going to, you know, Indonesia at that point was already super crowded, crazy tropical weather, which is fun at times, but I kind of am more pulled towards the colder temperatures.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
a guy more pulled towards the cold.
Yes.
Interesting. And so, because you guys are originally, the Malloys are a kind of like a, is it Ojai
So,
around that way?
we
Is that
grew
where
up
the
in-
family grew up or
We
not?
grew up in Ojai.
Yeah.
So right there, you know, pretty close to Point Conception, the
Yeah.
waters gets cold.
It does,
I
right?
mean, yeah, like we're more comfortable in wetsuits than not.
Totally.
Type of thing, you know.
Totally.
So yeah, we grew up in a zone where it gets pretty darn cold most of the year, and the ocean doesn't warm up so much. It's not frigid, but just made it easy for me to put on a 5 mil and a
Yeah.
hood and not even.
And go adventure.
Yeah.
With that surfing world, I want to quickly linger on that a bit longer because I'm interested to hear this answer to this next question. Did you feel when you were on the tour in these places, because there was a nice list of probably pretty nice places to visit on anyone's kind of holiday destination list, right?
Absolutely.
And did you go there and were you kind of unable to truly engage with those places because you were there to be a professional surfer? Like,
Oh, definitely.
did you miss out? Did you feel like you'd been missing out?
You know, so the tour kind of is repetitive and you go to the same spots.
Yeah.
And I felt like I did my best effort and kind of going places and meeting people and getting to know the culture and soak it up. But after a few years going to the same spot, you know, there was definitely instances where you'd go, get there last minute, surf your heat, lose, out of here. You
Exactly.
know, depending on where it was.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that could, losing in competition can wear on you to the point where you're just grumpy and yeah, you just would rather split than be at that spot where you lost your
Totally.
heat. You know, kind of childish. But I mean, you know, it didn't take me long to realize I'm not really happy doing this. You
Yeah.
know, and then other times, you know, I'd have friends somewhere and I would stay for another month if I could,
Yeah.
depending on the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, when you're that concentrated on the tour, that's really all you care about
Yeah.
if you want to do well. And so, like, those spots on the map you're hitting are just, you know, that's just the avenue you're taking to achieve a level of success.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to.
They're just waves.
Yeah.
There's not
Yeah.
much more going on there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Have you revisited any of the places since? Have you had that opportunity to kind of go back and
Yeah.
feel them again and actually get the full
Yeah.
depth of experience?
Yeah, and I have to say too, like, in the early days, I kind of moved to the North Shore.
Yeah.
And I had like a good amateur career and, you know, had some big contests and national team. And then I kind of hit a slump when I was in my late teens and wasn't doing that great in competition. And so I kind of moved to the North Shore with my brother Chris, and we did, before I really got on the tour train, I was just going on surf trips.
Yeah.
And so I had that in me already, you know, that side of it. And I'd done quite a bit of traveling, just going on surf trips, spoiled surfer, you know, with a
Sure.
crew of guys. And
Awesome.
so I got to experience that early on. And then what happened was eventually I went to a contest and did really well and won. And then I thought, oh, I could do this.
Yeah. The golf swing.
I don't know if that was good or bad. Yeah, it was that perfect
That perfect
crush
connection.
down the drive, down the fairway, and then I got hooked in there for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And then I did pretty well, so it just kept me coming back for more. And
Enough to be involved.
yeah, and then
Sick.
right about the time I was getting fed up, I broke my foot, and then I was gonna have to go back and requalify. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna enjoy the last year on the it was the WCT back then. I'm gonna enjoy it, but I'm done when it's over. You know, and it was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there's like, and so with this shift away from that kind of high performance surfing element, you've gone on an adventure, you've gone for solitude, you've gone for feeling that flow again. Was it automatically into the body surfing that took you to that flow? Because I do remember there was a good period of you being on the Elias a lot and kind of getting that kind of flow. Like, what was the progression for you into kind of being really into body surfing? Because it seems like that is almost your main interest, could it be said?
Yeah, at this point I would say I still do everything. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but body surfing is strong as any of it. I mean, I consider myself going in the ocean and I mean, I have a shaped 11-foot board, and I get both my girls on there, and we surf triples. And like lately, I've probably been doing that more than anything.
Okay, cool.
But body surfing is super important to me in the scheme of things, and I would say it was those days back when I was just wanting to escape the competition and all the crowds, where it really resonated with me, and then I've kept it there ever since as the super important part of surfing and being in the ocean to me, you know.
So how do you think you'd balance your time out between craft? You were trying to, if we could put it in a pie chart, what do you think your breakdown is for the listener to understand?
I think it would be like 1/3 of the time body surfing, 1/3 of the time riding a shortboard.
Okay.
And then the other part riding whatever, you know, mixing it up with any
longboard with the kids.
Exactly.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, but a solid third of it's body surfing.
Yeah. That's a big chunk of your surfing time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I mean, I love it. Like, you know, if the wave's right, I'd rather body surf it for sure.
Okay.
Than take out a board. You know, there's different waves suited for different things.
Yeah, for sure. With the body surfing phenomenon, it is really hitting a moment.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a bit of credit here for that moment because, you know, I did, when I introduced myself to you yesterday, I did give a legit compliment from me, and I think a lot of people who have seen the film Hell or High Water, like, it's one of the best surf films I think ever done, right? Because it totally captured a very specific niche, which has always been the foundation of the whole bloody thing. You know, like body surfing kind of was it with the pipos, at least maybe here, but you know, it's been on the body's been in the water majority in the beginning. So
right.
You know, congrats on achieving that. And I put a lot of the revival of this, the renaissance of body surfing, down to that film as being a very critical element. How was it a tough sell to get that? Because films cost money, and ideas are ideas.
Yeah.
We've got thousands of them. I'm sure your brain bubbles away all the time with things you'd like to do and document.
Yeah.
Was it a tough sell to get it over the line when it came to getting it actually funded and done?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, well, the neat part about it was like, I'm going to do this because I really want to do it, and I feel like it's going to be fun, and that's all I had to go off of at the beginning, you know? Like, we're going to do it. And I felt like with the underwater footage possibilities, as long as we didn't overdo it, it could just be this magical thing. Yeah. You know, that like people just don't see, you know? And so, but when we decided to work on it, my wife and I she was like, let's do it too. She was involved as well.
Oh, cool. So it's a family film.
Yeah. So it was just me and her at the beginning doing interviews, and I'd have the camera and she had the microphone. Like even the Bo King section was just my wife and I. And actually Dave Holmes, he came and shot some water stuff too. But so I was like, if we make a little movie and we go around and show it at surf shops and 20 or 30 people show up, that'd be awesome. Yeah, right. You know, maybe that's kind of what I think this will be. At the same time, I felt like I had an opportunity to tell the surfing story through new eyes a little bit, because surfing, you know, surf movies, there's been so many of them over the years, going way back to Bruce Brown and all those guys, and it's kind of hard to reinvent that story. Yeah. But with body surfing, there was it gave me the opportunity to tell the body surfing story, which is very pure and about riding waves. Yeah. So it was this like really neat little opportunity that I didn't even really realize so much when I started it. It kind of just came out through working on the film, you know. Yeah, I was excited, and like with that film, I was like, okay, this is all about the body surfers. Like, you know, I know there was Kelly and Laird, and there's a bunch of amazing surfers that body surf, but I wanted to make sure we concentrated on the hardcore body surfers. And I think that was neat. I think those guys really appreciated that.
I really think that was probably one of the coolest aspects, because as you know, of course, we know like Kelly competed here yesterday, and he was ripping. Like, you know, he's one of the greatest watermen of all time. Yes. He'll do anything on anything. Yes. You know, like he'll go anything on anything.
Amazing body surfer.
And you know, and you see a guy like Laird as well, very accomplished. But you did feature Mike though, which is kind of, I mean, as far as body surfing goes, I mean, where do you, like, I don't want to throw shade on any other body surfers, but there's just when it comes to that high level performance competitive body surfing, there just seems to be a gap of light years between what's possible. I don't know if I was seeing it with different eyes or whether I'm just a fanboy that's just giving him too much praise right now, but what are your thoughts on that kind of approach that he takes versus others?
Yes, so I think that Mike is just so incredible. You know, you could easily argue the best body surfer in the world. Pipeline is his wave.
Sure.
I mean, he has it so figured out. I think that there's younger kids that could give him rubs in certain conditions at certain other places.
Yeah, sure.
But, I mean, yesterday he just put on an amazing display at Pipeline, and at age 57?
Yeah, well, I just 56. Joke around that he's like 76 now, but 57.
He literally just made everyone else look like the child out there. I mean, it was really so impressive. I thought, and such a great guy, and love him to death. And I was so fortunate to have him be a part of the first Body Surf film, and look forward to doing stuff with him in the future. But yeah, I mean, the level out there is really rising. Some of the guys are just doing amazing stuff, but I think Mike Stewart proved that he's still.
We got a visitor.
My daughter Millie. Mike just kills it out there at Pipeline.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you guys have to stay over there.
That's all right, though, but it's nice to have you drop by.
Yeah,
really.
We
cool.
love you. We love you.
That's a camera for shooting interviews. Yeah.
Mil, can you do us a favor? We need a little bit of quiet just for a few more minutes, and then we're gonna go swimming. Okay? Yeah. Awesome. Love you guys. I know, but we're gonna go again.
But I just took
we're gonna go over to Kelly's and paint or whatever you want to do. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good deal. You know.
But he
has toenails, by the way. Those blue toenails are really cool. I like that. They match. Good on yous. Yeah. So, Mike.
Yeah. So I mean, crazy human. And they talk about the GOAT. That's definitely Mike Stewart.
It is.
And I felt like. Quite a few of the bodyboarders are also amazing body surfers, and I feel like they're part of that crew to me.
Yeah.
Where surfers are different.
Yeah. Right.
I think that the bodyboarding world is still kind of an underdog world that kind of meshes with body surfing.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
I think it's interesting because being a bodyboarder predominantly myself and growing up on that craft, I mean, it's a very easy transition to a body surfing competition. Of course, there's that element of like actually maintaining the connection, which is like the key difference I think that Mike has over others. And the full core body surfers, they get it. Like, you know, they're getting a bit more of the arm kind of connected to the surface. They get that back, kind of this area here on the back connected in that real critical moment.
Yes.
So you do see the difference between people who are actually practicing and spending the hard, hours.
Really getting it wired. Yeah.
But for a bodyboarder, there is this easier transition.
Sure.
And do you think that I want to kind of move around a bit with this, but do you think there's like a loss for many surfers who aren't willing or able? I think it's more about a willingness, because I think everybody's able to go body surfing. There's a pair of fins and your heartbeat and your arms.
Yes.
So are they missing out on a critical part of the experience and the progression by not engaging with it?
It's interesting. I think so. And it's so like I'll be with some surfers and see them lose their board, and a guy that I expect to be an awesome body surfer isn't.
Yeah.
And then other guys just got it, and they're like really great, like as far as surfers goes.
Yeah.
Half of them are really good body surfers, half of them can't do it at all.
Exactly.
And I think it's almost a little strange to me.
I think so too.
Maybe leashes have been around too long. You know what I mean?
That could be it.
Yeah.
That could be it.
But there's definitely guys out there that blow me away on how good of surfers they are, and they don't really get body surfing.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty
wild.
wild.
I would say they're missing out on something.
Yeah. Because there's a very unique perspective of the tube. There's a different line you've got to take. I mean, there's so much to learn from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you feel like it informs your surfing? Like, has your surfing evolved out of your engagement with body surfing yourself?
I mean, I would say it just makes your wave judgment as well as anything else. It's like the wave judgment goes up a level, and your fitness goes up a level. You know, body surfing, riding a board, is the actual riding the wave is so different. You know, that I don't think it crosses over too much, but like there's nothing better than doing body surfing, especially big waves and things, to really get you super fit and really key into where the you know, the waves are breaking at a certain spot. Like it's the ultimate crossover training for surfing, I would say.
Interesting.
But I feel like the wave riding aspect of it's pretty different. Yeah. Just because the board changes so much.
Yeah. Because you're constantly burning out there. You know, like it's exhausting. That 20-minute heat. I mean, I was in the bodyboarding event the day before. Yeah. You can sit on the foam and take a breather. Yes. Body surfing, you're constantly just treading water, like keeping an eye on the horizon. Yes. Trying to figure out if you're too close in or too far out. Like pipes are lethal waves still, you know, like
it is. And yesterday it was just like a river out there. You really had to swim hard to stay in position and stuff like that. And pipeline kind of comes down to fitness. Like all those guys that make the final, man, they're fit, you know. Like you gotta take off on on the sets and knowing you probably might not make it, and half the time you don't make it and just get hammered and go back out and do it again. And so it's a fitness test as well at pipeline. Absolutely.
All right, so the surfers of the world, if you want to get fit, take this man's advice. Go for a swim. Get some fins.
It'd be the best thing you ever did.
Yeah. With the first film, because you're in production now, you got a crew with you. You were chasing interviews yesterday. You've got, I think it looks like you were mentioning, you got a pretty good amount of content from yesterday's event. So you've got a bit of a win here. Tick that box.
Right.
You took the journey last time to some really cool places. Like you went extreme. You went to Chopu on what was like, there was some gnarly stuff there, and I don't think people had really seen that before.
Right.
So that really took body surfing into a whole other realm that I hadn't really appreciated yet either. Yeah. And you took it into, you're in a river, like a stationary river wave as well, and then you went to the classic spot at like Point Panic, which is kind of like the mecca, you would say, probably for body surfing.
Cutting edge throwing that out spot there. Where guys are doing stuff there that I think those skills have only so many skills were learned at Point Panic that now people do other places, but that is kind of where a lot of it, the crazy stuff comes from.
It is, right?
Point Panic,
so we'll give that the mecca classification. What are you planning on doing differently with this one? Like how do you go beyond that? Because you kind of took it everywhere.
Right. So,
can you reveal anything?
Yes. So, I still think there's a ton of amazing places to go and see. Okay. And so we got a list of those, but it's a tricky one because I feel like this time around, you know, I was in the first film we were explaining body surfing, almost kind of for the first time. I felt totally. And I don't think we can really rehash this time.
No, I don't think you can either. I don't think you can. Yeah, it's been done. Told that story.
So we're gonna get creative, and I think we're gonna bring a bit of humor into it too.
Cool.
And I think we're also, I'm looking forward to locking into a couple stories of how therapeutic the ocean is as well. I mean, it's such a special thing, and it is so therapeutic. So we've run across a couple stories like that, but then I also want to have it to be a lot of fun, and I also want it to be, you know, some amazing waves that we just all sit there and hoot and drink beer and cheer for. Cool. You know what I mean? And so for me, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I kind of want to be its own film, because I don't know. Torpedo People 2, I named it. The first one's Come Hell or High Water. Yeah. I'm like, we'll just see what comes up here, but I feel like I got amazing cinematographers. There's great stories to be told out there, and we're going to have fun with it and a little humor too, and see what comes up. You know, it is a little daunting after the first one because I feel like we got so lucky in so many ways. Oh, yeah. But I'm sure we're going to put together something that people are going to want to come out and see. Cool. You know, part of the reason why is because it's body surfing.
Did it the first film exceeded your expectations, I
Yes.
assume, right?
Mhm.
Like you were talking 20, 30 people at a surf shop. But
Right.
I mean, it's really gone quite nuts.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
And then we ended up premiering it, and there
Yeah.
was 1,500
That's
people at
absolutely
one
nuts.
event.
Yeah.
Body surfing.
That's, yeah,
Who
it's
would have
nuts.
thunk?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I wouldn't have get like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that would happen either.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you feeling a bit of pressure? Because I know there's like a famous there's a bit of a famous quote from Joseph Heller, who wrote Catch-22, one of my favourite books ever. And
Got it.
someone said, Joseph, you've never written a better book than Catch-22.
Right.
It was never as good. And he goes, well, I still wrote Catch-22. That's his
Right.
response. But
Yeah.
are you feeling a bit of pressure?
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling pressure just because I want to put something out everyone loves. But I'm not gonna. The pressure's not gonna stop me from making another movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
sure.
Like I could be like, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to screw it up. But I'm like, no. There's a lot more fun to be had.
Yeah.
And I know the process is gonna be awesome and engaging so I want it to be really great. But I'm not letting that pressure like stop me.
I noticed I follow you on Instagram, and I got the call out to say we're going to do another film.
Yes.
Send through ideas. You actually
Yes.
did a bit of an engagement there.
I did.
How did that work out for you?
It's great because I want everyone to be engaged this time around, and I want people to know it's coming, and I've already connected with a lot of people on
Cool.
that, and like it's part of it for me is like I want this to be something for the body surf community that everybody can anticipate and even be a part of if possible.
Yeah, cool.
And I kind of woke up one day and just posted that because
that was just random. Like, okay, I'm gonna ask everybody.
I'm like, I've been thinking about doing another film for a while, and then I've been hemming and hawing a little bit and having trouble getting it funded. And
Really getting it funded again?
yeah,
Even off the success of the
yes,
last one.
yes. So anybody out there, if they want to be a part of it,
WTF. So you are calling out for funders?
yeah, we're looking for funding for sure.
Cool.
I was like, I'm just not gonna wait anymore. Let's just get this thing rolling, and even this event, I was just like, I'm just coming last minute and let's just start shooting. And I got a couple guys, my good buddies, and I said, hey, when the funding comes, hopefully we'll get you paid. But the thing with body surfing is people will just want to be there and see it and do it, heck, I'll probably lose money in the long run, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who knows? Maybe somebody will come in and really love it, and we'll get the boys some paychecks.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so anyone listening who enjoyed the first film, feel free to get in touch. Well, look, I think as I said, I think we're hitting a sweet spot to kind of wrap things up. Your production period is, you said you got the full year ahead of you to make this film.
Yes.
And you're going to use that full year? Everything is kind of like blocked out and...
Yes. Yes. We're going to go hard for a year.
Great.
And what's neat is, if we get it done in a year and maybe edit in the following 6 months, it'll be almost exactly 10 years since the first one.
Is that how long
believe it's been 10 years? And that's why I was like, I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to, let's make another film. You know what I mean? Like, I could come up with excuses why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's have fun. And I'm like in a good point in my life where I think it'll be an enjoyable process for myself.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So is it falls into maybe at the moment a category of passion project? Is that where it fits still?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
So what are you doing outside of these passion projects these days? I mean, you're a bit of an enigma. You pop up in places. Like, what's the work life for you now?
Yes. So basically, I work for Patagonia.
Okay, so you're still working in Patagonia. Cool.
Super involved at Patagonia and a part of the film department there.
Okay.
I still work on surfboards and wetsuits and clothing and all that.
Okay, so you're still really inside the machine there, getting it done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and on the side of that too, I have a little production company to help pay the bills as well.
Okay.
Kind of a small crew that I work with.
Epic.
And we're doing some stuff.
Creative direction. This is you. It's your thing.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, that is it, right? Scripting it out, directing.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Pulling all the pieces together to make, and I feel like what I do mostly is little documentary style.
Right.
So if I'm doing for somebody wants, say Patagonia wants something, like recently I went down to Spain and we did a film on a couple who have a regenerative farm.
Right.
And for me, it's like finding the subjects that are very interesting and then letting the story unfold, you know?
This is a bit of a Malloy infatuation, though, isn't it? The
For sure.
agricultural side of things. Like when I
Yeah.
interviewed Dan
Yeah.
a couple of years back, it went to regenerative agriculture was kind of his jam as well.
Right.
I mean, let's stick on that because that's a really cool thing to talk about that maybe people don't get to hear about so often. So
Yeah.
we'll finish on body surfing, but I wouldn't mind diving in here.
Yes.
This process, you are a farming family, right? You kind of come from acres.
Well, let's see here. I think we grew up in a little, on a couple acres.
Yeah.
And my dad had, gardens and was always growing something, and we had chickens and pigs and horses, but like we didn't come from a real farming family.
Okay,
It wasn't
so it's
like
more hobby farming.
hobby farming.
Okay, cool.
As kids.
Cool.
And then later in life, I think we've all been drawn back to it. And then my brother Chris and his wife have more of a legit small farm.
That's what they're doing, right? Like
Yes.
I saw his Instagram's mostly farm related.
His
things.
wife, and then my brother Dan as well. Those guys have gone kind of more into the farming, and then my wife and I, we actually have some cattle.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
and we do our own or like naturally fed cattle and pigs.
Okay.
And a lot of that is for our own consumption, but then we actually have a lot now, so we'll be selling them to friends and also the regular avenues, basically.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
So yeah, we've all been attracted to that. And these days I ride horses a lot,
Cool.
and want to be cowboy and do all that stuff. But
Sounds
I've actually been around people that have given me a lot of tips and help manage ranches and deal with the cattle. That's kind of my my little wannabe.
So it's a full learning experience for you at the moment.
Yes. And I was around it a bit when I was a kid, but as I've gotten older after surfing, now I'm really learning a ton.
What do you think the attraction is for you guys back to the land like this? Like, and in particular regenerative agriculture, what's that attraction all about?
I mean, I think it's something a lot of people are interested in, and there's something about the process and looking into the process. It's like, why not do it right if we can? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like I think it's healthy for a person to go out there and get their hands in the soil and create something. I mean, even like having your own chickens and I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it can be simple, and like I said, I'm not this crazy farmer or anything, but I think you're right. For some reason, my brothers and I, it's all interesting to us. And
yeah, I mean, it's three brothers who all went like, okay, you had a little bit of an introduction as kids.
Yeah.
You've gone out into the big wide surfing world.
Yeah.
Seen the world.
Yeah.
Focused on the salt water and the ocean and everything that provides. But
yes.
It is kind of really interesting that all three of you have come back onto the land.
Yeah.
And integrated that as part of your lives.
Yeah. I don't know.
Have you read the same books?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think we've all just been attracted to it. And as far as the horses and the cattle, I had two uncles that were really badass cowboys. Like,
all right.
Like
Legit.
the real deal.
Spurs and
yes.
shit?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like,
full
like,
kit.
Yeah, running cattle ranches.
Epic.
In like doing rodeos and all that. So it's always been something that was super interesting to us.
Yeah.
And then the farming side of thing is just I don't know, being on the land and just being interested and wanting to be a part of the process.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do enough people, like, did that process element you're talking about, it's kind of like reconnecting the individual with where their food comes from. It's kind of what you're talking about, right?
I think so. I think so. And like, and with the cattle and the pigs and things, it's like, yeah, I understand people being vegetarians. For me, it's like when people go out and buy meat at the store, they don't really realize what goes into that. On. You know what I mean? So for me, being a part of the process, I feel like is makes me feel better about it than just buying packages at the store. I enjoy the whole thing. I feel like in ways you kind of, if you're gonna eat animals, you should kind of be aware of how full on it is.
Yeah,
you know what I
it's
mean?
full on. I think if everyone was required, I'd spearfish a little bit. I know when I'm pulling a trigger, and I'm gonna kill something.
Yes.
You know, like that's a big call.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And for a while there, I read a few too many books.
Right.
And I couldn't pull the trigger for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was locked in this
For
like,
sure. Yeah.
This
Can't
doesn't
do it.
feel right.
Yeah.
And I'd love to eat that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I got through it, and I don't know how. I must have been talking to some other people, and I kind of took responsibility. And I think it was all about taking responsibility, like understanding the weight of that responsibility and that kind of call to take a life for your own consumption or for that of your family.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people ever get that experience. The majority of people are just buying it off the shelf,
Right.
wrapped in a plastic
And then they'll eat half of it and throw it away.
No, it's not.
Whereas if you like raise your own chickens and you slaughter them and eat them, you're like, okay, now this is going into chicken soup. You know, you really appreciate every bit of it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't like to preach about it. I just like to do it. And I'll go. I'm not like a snobby eater or anything. Like if I'm on the road and I need to go get freaking cheeseburger somewhere, you know, like I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Not too preachy about it, but it's for me. It's interesting. Another learning experience, doing it all, and I don't know, something we just love and enjoy doing.
Cool. Let's get off the land and back onto body surfing to wrap this one up.
Yeah.
To finalise this podcast, epic one, exactly what I hoped to get in this interview, and I appreciate it a lot for you taking the time.
Happy to talk with you.
What is the best moment of the original film that you kind of reflect on and feel you're just like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've done? Is there a particular moment you can point to?
In the first film?
In the first film, something that people can go and watch and go, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah. For sure, it's Dawn and Boat King section with the autistic child swimming through the waves.
Yeah.
I feel like we just got, it was such a beautiful story. And so proud to tell it. And then they were there yesterday.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
sick.
Bo's like 20 now.
Yeah, right.
Pretty cool. So I don't know why that story. It was just super special, and it was special to them. So that was my favorite.
Sick.
Sure.
It clearly moves you deeply.
Yeah. And then Eddie Vedder ended up donating the song for it.
Yeah.
It was just one of those special things. So
Cool.
I hope we find some more stories like that.
I hope you can keep it together when you find it. All right, we'll call it a day.
Okay, thanks so
a lot.
much. Love
Epic.
chatting with you.
Epic.
Okay.